Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica. I am actually going live simultaneously today, unexpectedly. Tech genius that I am. I went ahead, set this up both on my Facebook and on my YouTube, so you can check me out, either one or both of them if you want them in simulcast. So great to be here today. Thank you for joining us. I know that I gave 0 heads up on my YouTube. And in fact, I'm not even sure on my Facebook how I can see questions. So forgive me. Let's see how this goes. I am just not from among the best techies in the world. So also, if you have questions, you can also put them on my YouTube, which I do know how to read. So that being said, welcome. Today I am talking about how I mastered handstand in 3 simple steps and how you can too without risking life and limb. Because I know that for most of you, the challenge that you have is, in a word, fear. Now, let me remind you that fear is faith in the negative. This is one of my favorite quotes, and it really sums things up really, really well. Because if we fear something, it's because we truly believe that we are somehow going to mess it up. And in this scenario, fear of handstands usually boils down to we are afraid we are going to fall over backwards and either like really hurt ourselves or maybe die. Okay, so I'm here to help you to assuage that fear and also talk about my Handstand Breakthrough Revolution course that will get you past the fear, guaranteed. And also just know that I do have a special promotion, like super huge, tremendous discount promotion on my Handstand Breakthrough Revolution course through this Sunday, which is Sunday, the 14th of July, 2024, depending when you're looking at this. And contact me directly if it turns out that you would like to get involved. Now, just to reiterate, I'm actually on 2 screens right now. So if you see me looking back and forth, it's because I've got a camera there and a camera there, because I am tech genius of the century. Okay, let's just say I'm way better at handstands than I am at technology. Could we leave it at that? Okay, again, I'm not even sure how to access the questions on Facebook now. So if I don't see them, please add them in the comments. And if I can't answer them live because I don't know where they are, I will answer them in the comments below. Okay, let's get into it. Handstands, of course, are sort of like the holy grail of yoga. For those of us who like really are into asana, really into sort of the hardcore physical practice. Now, keep in mind that yoga is way bigger than asana. In fact, asana is a tiny part of yoga. Yoga, right, is asana, yes, but it's also pranayama, which is your breath, and more than anything, it's actually meditation and spirituality and how to be a good person. So I'm actually not going to go into meditation or spirituality or how to be a good person today, but I hope if you are here, you are one of those people, one of us. Okay, party people, let's talk about what does it take to master handstands, or how it worked for me in 3 simple steps. Now, here's the first thing that I really want to impart. I know that the general rhetoric about handstands, and I've said this many times, is that handstanding is just standing on your hands, right? So the alignments are essentially the same as standing. You just happen to be doing it upside down. Okay, great. Now, what do I do with that? Because I'm upside down, and standing is so normal and easy. Standing in handstanding, not normal, not easy. So how on earth am I supposed to take that bit of information and translate it into anything even resembling handstanding in the middle of the room? So here's the first thing you need to know. So number one simple step of mastering handstands. And remember that when I say simple, it's not the same as easy, okay? Easy is like if I'm like, touch your nose. I mean, unless you're drunk and your eyes are closed and the police are telling you maybe you can't touch your nose. But if I tell you right now, touch your nose, that's both simple and easy. But in order to do a handstand or really any physical feat in your life, you need the simple steps. Okay, so that means not just like the broad overview. Handstanding, you just align your body up and down and you're balancing. And I've seen videos that basically say that and nothing else. They're just like, have your feet over your hips, over your shoulders, over your hands, and you're balancing. And it's like, okay, well, what do I do with that information? So step number one, and this is in my Handstand Breakthrough Revolution, is to know every single piece of the pose, meaning where is every single body part in your handstand, okay? Every single one. I'm talking about fingers all the way to toes and everything in between. Okay, why is this important? Why do I need to know every single thing? Because A, you need a replicable formula, right? Like if I'm just kicking up in the middle of the room and kicking up in the middle of the room, and sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't, and sometimes I fall and sometimes I don't, and sometimes I'm happy and sometimes I'm sad, and well, that's just like, that's luck. That's just called luck. That's not called skill. And luck and skill are two different things. Now, when I know every single alignment from my pinky to my pinky toe, then I can go through basically a checklist and say, are my hands in the right place? Are they in the right position? And are they doing what they need to be doing? If the answer is yes, then I go up to my wrists, my elbows, etc. I work up the body, okay? And what happens is, and I do this really even now, whenever I'm learning a new skill, is I have a checklist, okay? And there are certain things that I just know. Like, for example, hands are shoulders distance apart. Bada boom, bada bing, that's easy. Okay, every time I put my hands down, they're in the right place. So I can sort of cross that off my mental checklist, but it's still there, right? So by having the checklist of every single body part, then you'll see which ones happen naturally. There are some that will just happen naturally, and you'll see the ones that are not happening for you. Those are the ones that you need to keep on the list and repeat every single time you enter until you master. Especially if you've ever played sports before. So like I used to be a hardcore tennis player. So in tennis, there's, basically, there's more, but there's basically forehand, backhand, volley, serve. Okay, obviously there's some other things, there's lobs and stuff like that, but these are my basic strokes. Now, if you want to be a really good tennis player, right, you learn to do those strokes basically in your sleep. This is called muscle memory. It's very repetitive. When I used to work with my coach, I would be hitting hundreds of backhands in a row, hundreds, and trying to hit this one spot every single time, over and over and over and over and over. You do this in like every sport. If you have like a really repetitive sport, say bowling, right? Every single time it's the same lane, it's the same ball, it's the same exact configuration, or basketball free throws, right? That's how I do basketball free throws. I am not a basketball player at all. But the more you are able to drill down on very specific alignments, And then you are able to replicate them. Then you create muscle memory, which means that the handstands, yes, it's true, will start to happen on their own. On their own. It will become so second nature to you, just like any yoga pose. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to be as easy as standing on your feet. Like, obviously, even the best handstanders in the world can't like stand in a handstand for hours, but they can stand on their feet for hours. But I will tell you that getting into it will be just as effortless, just as consistent if you practice regularly, if you have the checklist, and if you stay consistent and always try to do the same thing over and over and create the muscle memory, right? So, quick tip. For anybody who thinks that getting into a handstand is about getting your legs up in the air above your body, think again. If it were about your legs, you wouldn't be able to do things like a scorpion. They're not above your body. Or stag legs. They're not above your body. Or straddle. They're not above your body. I could go on and on and on. So you have to decide also, when you want to master complex asanas, are you going to approach it like a grown-up? Or are you going to approach it like a first grader? Which means very, very simple calculus, legs up, and I'm set. Okay. Oh, by the way, tomorrow I'm doing another YouTube live on how to keep the shoulders safe and in the right position for handstands. So be sure to catch that as well. Now, Theodore, thank you for this comment about all core. I don't know how often you watch my videos, but my mantra is always, no matter what the question, the answer is core. Core, 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 but there's more. Here's what you need to know, because every time people hear me saying that and emphasizing so much how important core is, their immediate response to me is, well, I don't have enough core strength. Okay, I know this is a family show, so I'm not going to say the full words. I'll just say the letters. B, S. BS. You can put that together and create that message for yourself, because here's the truth. If you can stand up straight, you have enough core to do a handstand. Remember, in its most basic elements, a handstand is just standing upside down, okay? If you have enough core strength to sit up straight, you have enough core strength to do a handstand. The problem isn't whether you have the core strength, it's whether you know how to engage it. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, I think my second, maybe my third most popular video is my secret to all of yoga video. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. Why? Because it's the secret to all of yoga. And the answer's in the question. That's why you need it. What is the secret? It is core engagement. So my secret to all of yoga video on YouTube will show you how to do the core engagement and also how to put that core engagement into the handstand equation. Okay, so that is number one. Know the alignments, have a checklist, and make sure you create the muscle memory. Oh, that was number one, but it was three. Okay, so that's number 3 in 1. Okay, number 2. And this is one that you're going to hear over and over and over again. And some people like totally get this, and some people totally are like blah, blah, blah. And you hear me talk about this all the time, and it is mindset. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough how much mindset makes a difference. When I first started going upside down and I was scared to death, I made no progress. It wasn't until the day that I flipped the switch in my brain and just said, if anyone could do it, I can do it, that suddenly, what do you know? I could do it. Now, it wasn't as magical as that. I put in tons of work, like a minimum of 10 minutes of handstand practice every day on top of a minimum of an hour and a half of yoga class. Now, guys, especially if you're yoga people, I really recommend that if you want to master your handstands, that you are practicing your yoga just about every single day. Just about, okay? For me, I'll tell you my exact schedule now, and it's shifted recently, is now I'm doing 5 days of yoga. That's 2 to 2.5 hours every day for 5 days. One day I do the Santa Monica stairs. That's 18 times going up and down the stairs in Santa Monica, the concrete stairs. If you're not familiar, it's 189 stairs up and down. You could do the math. I do 18 sets, meaning up and down is one set, and I do that in an hour. So I push it pretty hard. And then on the 7th day, like God said, I rest. So I'm taking one rest day a week now. 5 days hardcore yoga. I never, to be honest, as in ever, back off my practice. If you are not on my Vimeo, you should get on my Vimeo channel. That's where I have the practices that will give you the balance, the flexibility, and the strength to do all the tricks that I teach on YouTube. But on my Yoga Superhero channel, I have what's called the Fuller Monty, which is basically exactly the practice that I do every single day. All the handstands, all the transitions, all the back bends, all the everything. You do that regularly, and I promise it will change your life. Okay, so anyway, this is supposed to be number 2 about mindset. Why am I going back into skill set? Let's go back to mindset. That was my rewind. So again, I mentioned this before. The main reason that people tell me why they are not handstanding in the middle of the room, or likewise why they come to me for coaching, is because of fear. They're just flat out fear, right? Now, again, as I mentioned before, fear is faith in the negative. It's faith that something bad is going to happen. Now, when it comes to self-empowerment, guys, you have to understand that anytime you use the words, I am, fill in the blank, that is your belief system about yourself. And you need to analyze the words that are coming out of your mouth because they define who you are as a person. So, if you say to me, I am scared, what you're saying is not just you have some fear of handstands, but you are telling me that you as a person define yourself as someone who is scared. Now, is that how you wish to define yourself? Because let me tell you how I prefer to define myself. I am fearless. I am fearless. I am invincible. I am unstoppable. When you change the way that you think about yourself from I am fear, I am scared, to I am fearless, I am brave, how do you think the way that you approach, let's say, handstands in this scenario is going to change? The answer is it's going to change dramatically. It's going to change dramatically, and it's going to change forever. Because listen to this. When you start defining yourself as someone who is fearless, as someone who is unstoppable and invincible, that kind of belief system is going to go far beyond your yoga mat. Far beyond your yoga mat. It's going to dribble over all the way into your life. Now, I know that for a lot of people, just handstanding in the middle of the room, scary as can be. I get it. Believe me, I used to be that person. I so used to be that person. I've talked about this so many times, including in last week's Facebook Live. But I did understand eventually that I needed to get past that self-limiting belief if I wanted to master my handstands in the middle of the room. And turns out I did want to master handstands in the middle of the room. Fast forward to today, I experiment on my mat every single day with crazy transitions and all sorts of things that I'm just not that good at. For example, one-handed handstands, which I've been working on every day for years, and like I'm just now getting a consistent 3 seconds or a semi-consistent 3 seconds, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I have to go into that assuming that I'm going to be safe, that I'm going to have control, and that as long as I try my best every day, I'm going to make a little progress. Now that progress might be like a little. That's cool. That's cool. Another thing is, like, you have to accept that learning to handstand is a journey. It's a process. Are some people going to get it in like a day, a week, a month? Yes. Yes, some people will. Are some people going to take 2 months or 5 months, 6 months, or a year? Yes, some people will. Will some people take 2 years or 5 years or a decade to master the handstands? 100% yes. Will some people work on handstands tirelessly with complete determination for the rest of their lives and never get a handstand? Yes. Yes, some people will never get the handstand. But I'm here to tell you that if you think that sticking your handstand in the middle of the room is the only way to get a handstand, you're missing out on the mindset piece that knows that as long as I am working diligently towards a goal, I am on a journey. I am on a positive journey. I am on a learning and growing journey. And that means that the process is always worthwhile. And now here's the thing that you may or may not believe. You want to know when I mastered my handstands? It's when I stopped worrying about whether I was going to master my handstand or not, and instead just practiced because I enjoyed the practice. And now I am going to be 53 years old next month. For some reason, lots and lots of people on YouTube have started commenting with really nice comments like, "You're really old," which sort of cracks me up because it's like, okay, what do you want me to do with that information? But at almost 53 years old, I started yoga literally weeks before I turned 30. So what can I say is that 33 years later, I still love my handstand practice. It's still the highlight of my day, just about every day. And the only days that it's not the highlight of my day is either on stair climbing day, rest day, or like an amazing, awesome, spectacular, and super special day. Those days are the best days, by the way. So, number 2, it really is mindset. Guys, I recommend write down a sentence when it comes to handstands. I want you to write "I am" and fill in the blank. And if what keeps coming out is scared, work on reprogramming yourself until that word can feel comfortable as brave, invincible, fearless, or whatever word it is that you actually want to define you. Because I am willing to bet anything that you don't want your whole life to revolve around being a scared person. Mark, thank you for your comment. I'm so glad you love my channel. I do too. 57 years old, started when you were 50. No day like today, you guys. He started when he was 50. Took you 4 years to handstand. I love it. The number of people who tell me all the time, either A, I wish I started 30 years ago or whatever years ago, or B, I'm too old to start yoga. Both of those things, I have the same answer. And Mark Broadley just told you, it's right there. If you start at 50, great. If you start at 60, great. If you start at 70, great. If you start at 7, great. Every day is the perfect day to start, okay? Oh, except for tomorrow. That's not the perfect day to start. Today is. I don't even care what today is. Today is the perfect day to start. And Mark, way to stick with it for 4 years until you nailed your handstand. That is awesome and amazing. Okay, number 3. Number 3 basically takes number 1 and takes number 2, puts them in a nice little bundle. That is the most important step for mastering your handstands. What this is, if you haven't heard this before, you've probably never been to a yoga class, but what you bring to your yoga mat, you bring to your life. I'm going to go ahead and switch that around. What you bring to your life, you bring to your yoga mat. It goes both ways. So here's the thing, and I actually alluded to this before. If you want to take the I am exercise beyond just scared or not scared, and personally, I recommend you do that, make a whole list of all the things that you are and wish to be. But when you write down what you wish to be, write it as if you are. Okay, I know that sounds crazy. But even if you feel scared, just write down, I am fearless. If you need to, write it like Bart Simpson 100 times over and over and over until your brain starts to believe it. But you are the person who defines who you are. You are the person who defines your own integrity. And you are the person who decides how you approach your handstands in a way that is going to serve you instead of defeat you. Okay? Because here's the thing. If you practice your handstands diligently, A, you are going to learn patience. It's funny, I don't know if you guys know about my secret double life, but I teach yoga to children. I've been teaching yoga to children since 2002, since way before teaching yoga to kids was a thing. Like way, way before. And what people tell me over and over again is flat out, Shana, you are the most patient person I know. It helps that I love kids with every ounce of my being, like really, really love kids. But believe me, that practicing things like handstands where you're going to fall 1,000,000 times and you have to get back up and try again, this builds incredible patience. And I don't know about you, but somewhere I heard that patience is a virtue. So when you practice handstands, it's going to give you patience on and off your mat. And if you find that when you practice handstands, there's a lot of frustration involved, you're missing the piece and you're missing the point. So you need to work on the mental and personal skills that are going to get you into handstand beyond just the physical skills, okay? Number 2, and it's very much in line with patience, is perseverance, right? So what is perseverance? Perseverance means, I think the way that Bruce Lee, I think it was Bruce Lee said it, is fall down 7 times, get back 8. It's very, very simple. For me, it was probably fall, I don't know, 987 times, get up 988. I mean, there was a lot of falling that went on in the process of learning how to handstand. You know, the problem is that most people give up after 5 or 10 or 20, when it might actually wind up taking 10,000 or whatever, 5,967. You're never going to know until you do every single attempt and finally hit your goal. So don't give up, folks. Don't give up. You need to persevere. You need to be patient. And another thing that's amazing about handstands will teach you how to stay calm within a space of total chaos. So like if you're falling all over the place, your mind naturally is like, what? But instead, if you can learn to stay calm in the process of experiencing chaos, do you understand how that is a skill that is going to change your life forever? Likewise, if in life you naturally have that skill of staying calm in chaos, how do you carry that from your life over to your practice? Again, this comes back to like checklist and muscle memory. Muscle memory can absolutely apply to our thought patterns, our behavior patterns, not just our physical practice. And of course, when you practice handstands, it gives you incredible personal power. I know that it has for me. It gives me great confidence and power, especially at the ripe old age of almost 53, to know that I can do just about any handstand, any press, any jump, any transition, and nothing can stop me. Man, can you imagine how that changes your life? Listen, guys, turns out I actually don't know how to access the questions and comments on Facebook. So if you have them, please put them in the actual comments. That might not show up until after the video posts. I'm sorry about that. Technology, not my thing. But listen, I have an unbelievable promotion going on this week until Sunday, July 14th, on my Handstand Breakthrough Revolution course. This is for anybody who wants to finally master handstands in the middle of the room without fear, with total confidence, and without risking life and limb. It just takes 3 steps, guys. If you're interested, email me, Shana, S-H-A-N-A. If you don't remember how to spell it, just look at my profile. You'll see it there, at YOGAthletica. If you don't know how to spell that, it's on my profile. Remember, there's only one A in the middle, YOGATHLETICA.com. That was so fast, but you'll figure it out. And guys, listen, I do free handstand breakthrough calls, one-on-one. If you just want to set up a meeting, let's talk. Let's see what I can do to help you to get into your handstand. Before I sign off, I'm just going to ask, because I can see the comments on YouTube, but not on Facebook, sorry. If there are any YouTubers who are on who have a question that you would like to ask, now is your chance. I'm going to give it just a few moments. Hi. Hi. Okay, so not exactly a question, but hi. Thank you for tuning in, you guys. I super appreciate it. You know where to find me. Let's get you into handstands. It really is as simple as 1, 2, 3 when you are ready. What was the number? Oh, what was number 3? Thank you for that question, Diana. I know we're about to jump on a phone call. Number 3 is basically taking your best life skills and transferring them over into on the mat handstand skills. Think of it this way, guys. Think of something that you're really, really good at. Okay, let's say I like to use the example of cooking because I can't cook to save my life. Literally, I am probably one of the worst cooks on earth. One time I made white chocolate mousse and it turned out like taffy. So let's just leave it at that. But let's say you're really good at cooking. That's because you worked hard at something and one day it just became natural. You understand how the flavors work. You understand how the heat works. You understand how what pots and pans and utensils and whatever to use. When you step in the kitchen, you probably don't have the same kind of anxiety that I have. Like the thought of cooking a meal sends me into like apoplectic shock. But for you, that might be really easy. Why? Because you have created the confidence, the mental, and the physical skills that are replicable, easy to understand, easy to access for you. And when you go into something with complete confidence, you just knock it out. I can't snap, or that would be really, really dramatic. So it's the same thing. Number 3 is when you approach your handstands with the same confidence that you approach the things that are the most second nature to you in the world, that's when the magic begins. Okay, Sonic has 2 Riz. Your question is how to balance in a handstand. Now, my friend, that's a very, very big question. I'll tell you what, if you go to my YouTube, into my Handstand Mania playlist, you'll find dozens of tutorials that teach handstands from the easiest to the hardest. Or, of course, I highly recommend this week, guys, hugest promotion ever on my Handstand Breakthrough Revolution course. Contact me, Shana at YOGAthletica.com. The spelling of Shana and of YOGAthletica are both in my profile, SHANA, or you could find me through my YOGAthletica website. And my program, it's an 8-week program. It will teach you exactly how to balance into handstand. If you go on my YouTube, there are also testimonials. Particularly, you might want to check out Ari and Blossom, who hit 45 seconds and 30-second minimum consistent after the 8-week course. So that being said, if there's nothing else for today, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this puppy up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I will be live again tomorrow on YouTube talking about shoulder positioning for handstands, how to keep them stable and how to keep them safe. I hope to see you tomorrow. This is Shana Meyerson with the YOGAthletica Handstand Breakthrough Revolution. Guys, let's get you into that handstand once and for all.